I'll see you in the next one.
What?
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one.
Ain't so simple.
Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a
Please
rock
run
in the
well.
sky.
Please run well.
He gets
Oh.
up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble. Ground forms up under his feet as it pointing away. He don't stop to wonder why.
Perfect.
Finds his
there.
lifelong friend, just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion. He sees what's left of the rippling walls, years of work undone in an instant, in the calamity. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella,
It's a gas.
forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Gotta hold her still, spin up the chamber. Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink. A school of squirts tunnels up around him.
Squirts.
Must have fled here from the mines. He sets foot inside one of
And so
Solandia's
hot,
famous
man.
water
So
holes.
sweaty.
Wait, haven't I? Anyway, Rhonda's place just brings back memories. Then Kid finds his trusty shield. But just as he's getting a handle on it,
Gross,
the
sweaty hands.
security takes him for a petty thief. Special delivery. Gas fellas. Windbags start turning up for last call. More squirts start coming out of the woodwork. A big old fella pops out in front of the kid.
Yeah, shit.
Kid sees the way to the Bastion out the window. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of
Boom!
the breaker's bow, and it ain't broke. Kid spies a good perch for some target practice. He knows he should draw the string all the way back.
That's the right way. No idea.
Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid. Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome. He finds the distillery, right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the
Oh
kid will
god.
feel like a
Let's
new
go
man.
max health. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that'll do. That sounds good.
The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job.
Shut up, phone. God damn it, phone. Oh god. Oh.
Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins. He's a mighty fast learner. An old ferry barge
please.
sends the kid on his way. The Bastion's real close now.
Oh god, what a shit gun I chose. Die, motherfuckers!
Kid takes a chunk of alloy, smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. The kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did.
Oh shit, I better go. Okay.
Robs a scumbag of his last meal. Kid puts him out of his misery. He finds the core.
Yeah, I got
of the Wolf
caught.
District. He steals the city's heart. Might as well. See, that core kid took was the only thing making this particular rock stay afloat. Kid just keeps running. Somersaulting like crazy. At last, the skyway's in sight. Whisks him where he needs to go.
I've made a huge mistake, by the way. There we go. Mistakes over.
Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races. Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. We talk for a spell.
Oh,
There's
God,
a bit of the
shut
Bastion's power in that crest. Enough to point the way to the cores. All I tell him is to set that core of his on the monument there. Then watch. And just like that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again. Growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power to good use. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid ponders what to build. The Bastion's a place of peace, but we can hold our own if we have to. A hammer and an army carbine. When I was a fighting man, I used the very same. Now he lands at the intersection between bad and wrong.
Oh, I don't remember which way to go.
Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one? And there it is. But it's locked down tight in an alloy cage. A blustery old foreman's keeping his fellas in check. Almost like he's showboating the crowd. And now there's a new marshal in town. He hear the whole place groan, but it's too tough to follow. Might as well check the other side streets before leaving this hole. He comes back, just like I knew he would. The core hums in his pack. The monument's calling for it. Kid does it again. Only fair he decides what we build next. Picked up traces of other cores while the kid was out. Couples used to walk the sundown path. Kid ain't here for pleasure, though. But then, somebody gets to the core before the kid. Floor starts giving way under the lightest step. A single panic squirt could bring the whole place down. Well, the path ain't exactly open to visitors no more. See, the path was intended for leisurely strolling and such. Sky bridges link the path together. One of them bridges whips the kid along. Air travel always was an iffy proposition. But Calamity changed everything.
Still is, old man.
Even when wind
Still
blows.
is.
Well, if we mastered the winds in the old days, we can do it again. Who else could have taken the core? Well, ain't no survivor stole the thing. Scumbag ate it by mistake. Tough break. Unlike the kid, that core ain't coming back. No, they used to ship live munitions down the path. These wires to toss those things plenty far away. Even gas fellas need some shut-eye from time to time. They get real cranky when you wake them up. In all this toil, kid keeps coming back to an overwhelming question. Who else could have survived the calamity? So he didn't find the core that time, but that ain't about to stop us. In better days, the melting pot was sealed tighter than the skin on a squirt. Of all the plans to survive the calamity, it had to be stab weeds. Blasted things hurt like a broken heart.
Fuck, so bad.
If there's a core, he figures it ought to be deeper down. Core's stuck inside one of those fancy cages. Some of the stuff lying around is downright dangerous. He throws a switch. Now what could possibly go wrong? Quite a bit, as it turns out. The cage starts lifting from the core ever so slow. All Kid can do is wait. Shipments start falling in. Not every squirt's born bad. Some spring to the kid's defense. Judging by the movement of the cage, it's gonna take a little while. Scumbags don't take kindly to interlopers. Even some gas fellas take his corner. Heard it pop foreman. At this rate, maybe 5 more minutes, maybe 30. Hard to tell. Squirts get real territorial around the core. Then a shipment of free samples shows up. One thing's for sure, that cage is awful heavy. It's a troublesome scene, to be sure. A few moments left, and the core goes free. 10, 9, 8, 7, give or take a few seconds. Finally, the core's within reach. And done. got it. Just gotta get to the nearest barge.
Yatta!
I still remember the look on his face after that one. The old world's finished, but the new world's just getting started. The dead. The dead ain't gotta worry about this mess. The calamity took everybody after all. Kid sees it plain with frozen faces all around. These folks never saw the calamity coming, but someone did. Someone close. It was someone like him. It's a snag or two trying to get to him. He ain't about to stop, no matter what. He's got so many questions after all. Just ain't got time for answers. The Thunder Brothers didn't make it. Nordy the Bird Boy didn't make it. The Jawsons, they didn't make it. Grady Sr., Grady Jr., they didn't make it. But him, he survived. Just think, without that man, we wouldn't be here right now, would we? Kid does what he has to do. What do you say to a man who's seen too much? Kid hasn't a clue, but he says this: we have to go. Please.
Solve, please.
He's a proper gentleman, that man. His name is Solve. No hiding he's an Ura. Folks like him ain't never been a common sight in Ceylondia. He's relieved to see a living face or two. The kid and I introduce ourselves in kind. Both to him and to each other for the first time. The cores, they remember. That's why this place is coming together. That's why things are gonna be alright. Well, look what we have here. We tracked down a couple more cores near the edge of the city. There's only one way to Cinder Brick Fort.
Oh shit!
The hard way. Sure, the city marshals may be gone, but now the fort's crawling with windbags. The calamity was mercy, normal folks. Well, windbags, young and old, keep fighting for the fort. At least the marshals left the kid a parting gift. Something the windbags just can't handle. Something that'll punch clean through their greasy hides. Windbags ain't much different from normal folks. All they want's a warm place to stay and a decent meal. The calamity drove the windbags topside. A lot of them wound up here in this very fort. Cinder Brick gave them enough heat and metal to munch on for a while. Well, the fort ain't theirs by right. Can't blame them for wanting it, though. Times like this, kids glad he packed trip mines. Security's plane gone haywire. Windbags gummed up the works. Kid ain't afraid of getting burned. They trapped the kid in the middle of the force parade grounds. Then they bring out Glutus and Glandon, all their scumbag uncles. The uncles go out with a whimper. They got something to gain, only their sorry hides to lose. Kid takes down Glutus. Maybe it was Blandon. The windbags finally get the message. The Skyway's a welcome sight after all that. And now ain't nothing left for nobody down at Cinderbrick Fort. Kid shows up just as Zulf's telling me about his own journey to the city.
Shit.
Zulf's travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this. The gods, they're all undone. Folks used to make pilgrimage here to pay their respects to Pith, the bull. Well, the gods are long gone now, and the orchard core is long gone too. Pith stood for something once, something real. In time, though, the bull stopped being a symbol and started being decoration. Pith makes a decent scarecrow at least. That Pith lights up like a rodeo. Ain't easy punching through his hide. Kid breaks him to bits. Must have been guarding that shrine. So what'll it be? Invoke the gods? Or tell them off? Kid don't need favors from the likes of Pith. Well, if the gods are alive, they must be plenty sore. Popping windbags is hard enough. The gods can make it even harder. Things might have gone worse if Kid kept tampering with that shrine. The gods don't care about
What the
trinkets,
fuck?
but the kid ain't no god. Kid ain't found the core, but at least he found Zulf's precious shrine. The Langston River flowed free and wild till the calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Riverbanks swarming with windbags. They're so bent on finding the core they hardly notice the kid. Lucky for him, the certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. She sends some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. Maybe she can slip right past all the clamor on the coast. Or maybe not. A security skiff pulls up portside. Nellie's just another windbag to those guns. Just then, the windbags notice who she's sailing with. They're pretty steamed about what happened at Cinderbrick. They try to cut her off. They try to slow her down. They try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nellie tries harder. Try as she might, though, she hits a snag. Kid's gotta help her get untangled. Favors for favors. At least she picked a good spot for a break, 'cause the core's right there. Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings. They had their own eyes on the core. But why? He finds weeping Nellie raring to go. Turns out she's got a special surprise for when the waters get rough. She's gonna need a little help with all them peckers. Traffic things think they're king of the roofs now. Rest of us only wish we could fly in times like these. Security skiffs keep on coming to starboard side. Don't seem to care what they shoot, as long as they hit something. The windbag's getting even better idea. They aim to smash Weeping Nellie to splinters. Kid almost falls again. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nellie. She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nellie gets the kid to solid ground. Solid ground in pecker country. Seems Calamity ain't hurt the peckers' appetites. They want that boar real bad. Might be they want it just as bad as a kid. Kid shoos him off, knowing they'll be back. Know how many times Kid nearly fell off the barge back there? 3 times. Now, listen close. You should remember this next part. Why go to Prosper Bluff? Used to take an enterprising man or a plain old fool to venture out that far. The city was the most beautiful place in the world. We all knew that. But on the other hand, some folks just yearn to see the things they're told they can't. And that's why you go to Prosper Bluff, ain't it? There the kid hears something he ain't heard in a long while. How's it go again? That's the one. Timeless. Well, no point explaining what happens next, right? Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed. And besides, song goes, they'll be here before too long. We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either. We tracked the final core beyond the city to the wilds. The wild unknown. Place can eat a man alive. Place is so raw, even the Calamity couldn't cook it. Not all of it. Pecker's got the core, like they're building a bastion of their own. The welcoming committee scrambles to attention. Didn't expect the kid so soon. They shouldn't have let their guard down. Getting that core was one thing. Getting out's gonna be another. He digs his way out of the clearing, but the wilds won't let him go without a fight. Kid takes a last look around, 'cause he ain't coming back. Wallflowers survive the Calamity. Kid's roused up half the wilds by now. Then Kid gets the feeling he's being watched. Not by me, by a lunkhead. He's anxious to get back. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no, it ain't. Not by a long shot. Kid knows something's up when we ain't there to give a warm welcome. See, Zolf and I were just wrapping up a heated discussion. Zolf
Got
compared
bitch
us
slapped.
to the words. The Calamity failed, he says.
Oh, he's a bad
But I
guy.
will not.
Fucking
And
asshole.
with that, Zolf leaves us here.
Self-digger.
Seems the only thing the Calamity saved for Zolf was his smoking pipe. Zolf cursed the city, cursed the Bastion, cursed me, said he was going home. Zolf banged up the monument pretty bad. But there's a way to put her back together. The shards. We're gonna need all of them to nurse the Bastion back to health. After Zolf's little episode, Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop, Jawson
Here comes the
Bog.
worst half.
You'll get lost in that bog, I told the kid, and I won't be able to guide you back. Well, I let him go.
Oh,
What else could I do? What could any of us do? Zolf put us in a real bind. Hurt the Bastion bad. But the shards can make it better. They're like smaller doses of the core's medicine. Shame the only place to fill that prescription is out here in the wilds. This place is intoxicating. Don't know where he's gone. Might be gone for good for all I know. Wherever he is, it's somewhere I've never been. Somewhere I never want to go. The dead welcome him with open arms. Kid pops him good. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a lonesome ghost of a gas fella. you say to a kid who's seen too much? I'm Zolf of Ura. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Now the kid sees something stranger still. Sure enough, he finds peckers, lunkheads, wallflowers, pincushions, pineapples, swamp weeds, ankle gators. Now the Bastion can send them even farther into the wild unknown. Kid sets foot inside one of Ceylondia's famous watering holes. The security's just gonna have to straighten him out. There's no way out.
Oh. How am I not doing any damage?
Kid succeeds where the calamity failed. Would you look at what he did to poor old Rondi, the bartender? Proper story's supposed to start at the beginning. It's so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world's alright, snoozing there on a rock in the sky. He wakes up. I'm just fooling. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. The gods, they're all undone. He sees what's left of his lifelong friend. His friend, he's come undone too. He sees what's left undone. Near lost my train of thought just thinking about that place. The shard ain't lost either. Not anymore. Now to find a ticket out of this hole. Stay out in the wilds long enough, it messes with your head. Bootlickers dig their nasty thorns into his heels. Ever heard of the lung blossom? It's bigger than the stories say. With breath on that thing, like a scumbag sprung a leak. They say one whiff of lung blossom can make you lose your mind. Well, a kid prunes it down the sides somehow. Mother only knows what happened in the bog. Kid never much cared to speak of it. A shard is like a poor man's core, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it. A few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. The Shard's got enough juice to spruce up any of these places. The city tried to use the Shards to stake out the wilds. So much for that plan. Ankle gators used to roam the wilds, and they nested at Rothus Lagoon. Many a tale folks used to scare their children straight originated here. All kinds of beasts with don't know up from down, still lurking about. Even the brushers learned to fear this place. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct. Well, they ain't. Turned out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. The brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. Bad idea to walk in gator grass. That's ankle gator country for you. Sharp sticks make Queen Anne nervous, so she backs off a bit. Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. One bad step in that tall grass and it's Queen Anne's lunch. He holds his ground. Seems the Queen's running out of options. The closer you get to an ankle gator's lair, the thicker the tall grass grows. Kid's gotta make a run for it. Those leaping lunkheads don't like Queen Anne any better than the kid. Queenie must have scared a bunch of peckers out of hiding. Ankle gators don't much care for their young. That's why there ain't many around. Wanna know how to find an ankle gator lair? You use a kid as bait. The Shard's sitting in plain view. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. They say if you run across an ankle gator, you better keep running. She's starting to get annoyed. And now he's made her mad. Rest in peace, Queen Anne. That was for the brushers. Kid's done what needed to be done. Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel. All that trouble for a single shard. But you know what? It was worth it. Just the occasion to crack open the distillery's private reserve. The next shard should be farther out there in the wilds. Know how Caelondia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. The Army's triggers once had the place on lockdown. Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam! Just like my fighting days. Gun like that can even put the wilds in check. Point Lemaine seen better days for sure, but it ain't done. Whole place shudders in a fit. The grand rail of Point Lemaine, not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices, but it can give the kid a lift. just as long as he can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. Grand rails all grown over with things of calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Kid don't let so much as one of those things slip by. Lunkheads settled in like they owned the place. Takes fancy footwork on the rail, what with wallflowers coughing fungus everywhere. Of course, the Grand Rails seen much more fighting in bygone times. The Ura-Ceylondian War, 50 years ago, doomed to happen again. It was right here that Zulf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. The rail must have shook the Ura to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store for it, though. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into swamp weed central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? While shooting a genuine registered on carbine? While choking on swamp weed? While peckers trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. But then, at last, it's the end of the line. He'll be picking swamp weed out of those boots for days. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station, waiting for him. Not just another wallflower or pincushion, mind you. At first, he thinks it's Zulf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you. Says then wham. When the kid comes to, the man's long gone. But something else is there. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note.
Took that note, wrote it up.
That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it?
Did that shit.
It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. The shards are getting harder to find. Not everything blew up in the calamity.
I changed my fucking weapon.
Why, Colford Cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. The cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock. If you wanted to survive something like that, you had to learn to adapt. It takes a certain stubborn pride to keep on living in a place like this. As for us, we learned an awful lot from Culford Cauldron. The raw power of the world fell right into our hands. Can't fault our people for natural curiosity now, can you? Sure, we dusted off a good many secrets out here. But we discovered other things we're better off not knowing. The taste of air is so hot it sticks to your lungs. All sorts of awful things crawling underfoot. The more ash we swept aside, the more life we found. After all, when we looked down inside Culford Cauldron, looked down through all the smoke and flames, we saw in there the heart of the world. The heart now laid bare by the calamity. As for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing woke up every last stink eye from here to Johnson Bog. Biggest stink eye he's ever seen's waiting for him on the other side. And where there's one stink eye, there's always more. The Cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the kid a fond farewell. It's awful hot in there. With a good spyglass, you can still see the Cauldron from the city, but all the fires died out. There's nothing left of it. It comes back looking like the inside of a chimney. The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again. We need an awful big lost and found under the circumstances. Can't be too careful these days. We spotted a peddler carrying a shard to Mount Zan. Can't rightly call Mount Zan the mountain anymore. There's no more mountains now. There's no place left for the beasts of the wild to go. So they figure they'll hold out right here, on a slab of mountain the calamity forgot. We only found their little lair because they found themselves a little shard. The creatures are wild. They've been building a bastion of their own. But they ain't yet prepared for any company. Best thing we can do for those beasts right now is put them down, quick and clean. Look at it this way. It's either them or us. But if we win, they win too. Our bastion is everybody's game. Not just ours. Those beasts been hard at work fixing up the place. They've been searching for cores and shards, just like we have. Maybe they've thought about turning back, just like we have. We just really need their shard. Kid got it fair and square. He's done what's best for him, don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll all be better off once the bastion is complete. The monument's getting better. Zolf sure did a number on it, though. Seems the gods recommended this place to all their friends. Just a couple shards left. The quarry's gotta have one, right? Imagine everything you'd need to build a city like Caelondia. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes a burstone quarry. We bought the whole place from the Ura on the cheap. Rattletails ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit. Same goes for its natives. Rattletails. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. Stick 'em and cook 'em, or the other way around. Makes no difference. Just takes three things to build the greatest city in the world. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes a burstone quarry. We bought the whole place from the Ura on the cheap. Same goes for its natives. Rattletails. Windbags smaller than the naked eye can see are nesting in those rocks. But there's even more to it than that. Not only are these rocks a source of life, we found that the oldest ones remember things. They're recording everything, all the time, taking it all in. No wonder all those beasts were drawn to the quarry. The rocks were calling them. Keeping the quarry free from pests turned out to be a problem. Rattletails kept tunneling in to snack on windbags. Now why would the Ura sell off such a fascinating place? The Ura always were a superstitious lot. Might be the gods told them the quarry's bad news. In any case, it's fair to say the quarry was a godsend. Those rocks, all polished to a mirror sheen, the largest ones, you know as cores. The smaller ones, we call them shards. A shard's got a fraction of a core's power, enough to fuel a voyage to the motherland. Remember how I said Rattletails ain't the worst thing in the quarry? That honor goes to a beast we took to Colin, Sir Lunky. Massive things stomped many of our boys. We just couldn't get rid of him. The only thing harder than the rocks in Burstone Quarry is Sir Lunky's head. Big fat rump's plenty tough too. So is a kid. We never could get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone. Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. "Are you all right?" it says. "It's him." "I've come to warn you," he says. "The Bastion is under siege. Let it fall. You should not go back." Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred. "If that's the way it is," he says, "then I won't stop you. Because my countrymen will." The next part's hard to talk about, no matter how many times I try. Say what you will about Zolf, but he's a man of his word. His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though. They got inside the Bastion and shut the door. Kids gotta go in through the back. Zolf showed them the way here, and here they came to take revenge. Should have seen this coming. Felt it in my bones. Unfortunately, they broke in, and they started digging their holes. Something wrong sprung out of those holes, and it's eating away at this place. I couldn't stop them alone. I ain't a kid no more. I think they got him. They're wrong. Somehow, some way, he sends those Ura packing. Problem is, it didn't matter. Zolf's plan worked. We find each other as the dust settles. Then I tell him why the Ura came. To get us back. For the Calamity. It was Caelondia's master plan to wipe the Ura out. But part of that plan backfired, didn't it? If only Zolf knew the whole story. The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from over. The Ura swooped down from the east. At least now we know the way. One last shard. It's all we need to put this mess behind us. And mother, what a mess it is. A mess like that could have only been made by hand. At the heart of the Calamity was a simple idea. We never wanted to go to war again. Wanted to rule it out. We put a lot of folks against that problem. Scientists, soldiers, spies, even me. Most of our efforts didn't bear fruit. Then there was a breakthrough, but it didn't come from one of our people. It came from an Ura. A brilliant young scientist named Ven. Ven worked for the Mancers, the sharpest knives in the city's drawer. With his help, the Mancers devised a way to seal the Ura tunnels shut in a flash. Just like that, every last Ura living in the Tassel terminals will be gone. This discovery was never to be used, they said, except as a last resort. But Ven didn't like being manipulated. He had plans of his own. He sabotaged the Mancer's little science project, set it to blow up in their faces. But remember, the Bastion can fix everything. We just need that shard. Too bad the Ura ain't exactly been willing to collaborate on that front. We can't turn back now. It's strange. Feels like I told this part 1,000 times. First things first, though. There's someone we figured needed rescuing. See ya. The Ura fell back, no doubt planning the next move. But we knew ours already. There's something we had to do before going after that last shard. Well, now it's personal, ain't it? It's personal for him, and it's personal for me. He gets his hands on the care package I sent him. It's a little something I've been fixing up in my spare time. The Ura found a way to keep the calamity from spreading through Sultan's Hollow. They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy, even. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now. The Ura ain't pulling their punches. They even sick their little rattletail pets on the kid. By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. Most of the Ura's conductors are squared away in the middle of the hollow. Those calamity rocks must be eating that place apart from the inside. The Ura keep hanging on to that barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther. Maybe they know they've lost this. Lost to a kid. They underestimated us. Had us pegged all wrong. When the Ura attacked, we took it hard. And now, it's personal for him, and it's personal for me. They never saw him coming. He gets his hands on the care package I sent him. The Ura found a way to keep the calamity from spreading through Sultan's Hollow. They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy, even. Still, they ain't used to having visitors around. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Break enough of those things and the calamity rocks slink back into the ground. Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now. They even sick their little rattletail pets on the kid. By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. The Ura ain't pulling their punches. They're easy targets. Most of the Ura's conductors are squared away in the middle of the hollow. Those calamity rocks must be eating that place apart from the inside. The Ura keep hanging on to that barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther. They underestimated us. Had us pegged all wrong. Yes, our people caused the calamity, but here we are trying to fix it. It's not the time to get reckless. As the hour grows desperate, the Ura bring out their big guns. There's nothing standing in his way no more. Way out there on the edge of the world, that's where he finally finds you. But it ain't like Prosper Bluff this time. Ain't nothing for this gal to sing about now. Zia, you weren't kidnapped. No, ma'am. You just had to see what happened to the Ura. To your own people. You had to see if everything Zulf wrote to you was true. Once the kid gets that last shard from Zulf, it'll all be over. I can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be all right. Got his lifelong friend to keep him company. The calamity hit the Tazil terminals hardest of all. You know why Zulf back there. Zulf must be there all alone, just waiting. All his old friends and family were there. You know what's funny? Well, look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. Caelondia will be whole again. Problem is, we'll all be gone. Oh, we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop. Things will go back to the way they used to be. This whole place is a living record of the times before the calamity. You'd be your old self again. Think of all those times that didn't go your way. Come on, keep your chin up. Imagine if you could have another go at him. No mistakes. Anyone you've ever hurt. Everything you've ever done. you could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand? Wouldn't you agree? Well, I guess there's nothing more to say. Who am I kidding? Look. There's something else. A confession. How come I know so much about the Bastion? You follow me? Well, I designed the place, but that's beside the point. There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't test it. So you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing? The answer is, I don't know. You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's all right. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless you wanted to stay here with us. Well, that's sweet and all, but I don't know if I can stick around. The weight of the calamity, it's on our shoulders. We can't just let it go. Bastion does have another function, strictly speaking. If ever the monument blew out and we couldn't repair it, we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry. Next, we'd detonate the cores, and we'd take off away from here.
I need a prayer.
You know Zolf and his countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you? Zolf and the Ura. All they want now is to see the Bastion fall. Zolf dedicated his life to a lasting peace between the Ura and Caelondia. He can't have imagined the city would try to wipe the Ura out. Zolf ain't lost every shred of decency though, has he? He tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid. For Zolf, this ain't a personal matter. It ain't a simple matter of pride, either. One thing's for sure. The Ura can't be happy that the kid followed Zolf all the way home. I can see it now. The kid in one corner, and Zolf in the other. Ain't much of a fight. Don't you worry, though. Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all be alright. Although, after talking it over like this, guess I'm beginning to have my doubts.
I set my sail, fly, the wind it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, clouds are making way for me. I'm coming home, sweet home. I see your star, you left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here. Eyes open wide.
Kid's probably dealt with Zolf by now.
Feel your heart and it's glowing.
He reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days? Hey, kid. Get up, kid. Come on, that ain't funny. I said get up. That's more like it. Now, set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk. The Bastion. It's finally finished. Now, there's something I want you to see. Welcome to the heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions. Good to see you. You can undo the calamity here and now. Go on, kid. And before I forget, thank you. Always wondered what the motherland was like. Not that it matters anymore.
You made it. So, let's see. You can either prevent the calamity, or stick around with me and Rex. I'd hate to be in your shoes. If I could be any place I wanted, I'd stay right here. We could go anywhere in the world.
It's finished. Now, sit tight. It'll be over soon. No matter what happens next, you're done good.
I set myself fly, the wind it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, climb to make it wait for me. I'm coming home, sweet home. I see your smile, you make it fly for me. Mother, I'm here.
I suppose all that's left is to try and remember this moment. The Bastion's gonna take us back to a better time before any of this. Might be we'll forget everything you've done and each other. Well, after all we've been through, I find that hard to believe. So long, kid. Maybe I'll see it in the next one. Say Landia.